Picture this: an emperor at the height of his power, dressed in gold and crimson, seated in a marble palace, surrounded by philosophers and priests. But something is wrong. He no longer speaks of war, taxes, or law. He speaks only of voices, of light, of God piercing his brain. And one day, he calls his physician and orders the unthinkable: "Drill a hole in my skull. I must see the divine." Is the story of Emperor Maximus Aurelius a name lost in the folds of Roman history, whose obsession with enlightenment turned into a descent into madness and murder? Born in AD 203, Maximus Aurelius was not expected to rule. He was a minor noble from Hispania, a lover of Stoic philosophy, astronomy, and mystery cults. He was educated in Alexandria, where Greek mysticism blended with Roman discipline, and where trepanation, the ancient practice of drilling into the skull, was still practiced by fringe healers. When the plague of Cyprian wiped out 2/3 of the Senate and decimated the line of succession, Maximus was elevated by the military. At just 32 years old, he became Emperor of Rome. He was brilliant, eccentric, and deeply obsessed with the boundary between mind, matter, and the divine. The obsession with enlightenment over time. Maximus withdrew from public life. He surrounded himself not with generals, but with mystics, alchemists, and a mysterious Syrian seer named Anzel, who whispered of a path to true apotheosis through the opening of the skull. Maximus believed that by drilling a hole in the parietal bone, he could release the divine vapors trapped in his mind, just as ancient shamans had done to see the gods. He called it the aperture of divinity. His court physicians refused. One was exiled. 2 more mysteriously vanished, but Anzel offered to do it himself. The trepanation ritual. One stormy night in the palace of Domitian, the ritual began. Maximus laid on a slab of obsidian, candles flickered, incense burned. Anzel, using a bronze spiral hand drill from the east, began to bore into the emperor's skull slowly, deliberately, chanting in Aramaic. Maximus never screamed. When the bone cracked, he wept with joy. He claimed to see a city of burning light, and heard the voice of Jupiter himself. For days, he refused food or rest. He believed he had crossed the veil, but something else had crossed with him. Soon after, the emperor began hearing voices. He believed his dead mother spoke to him from within his skull. He ordered mirrors removed from the palace, claiming they showed his other face. He began trypaning others, servants, concubines, even nobles, believing it was the only path to salvation. By the end of the year, over 50 people had holes drilled in their heads. Most died. Those who lived babbled of light, of screams, of the emperor's second soul. The Senate panicked. The military muttered, but no one dared confront him. He was no longer a man. He was a god in pain. In AD 241, his wife, Empress Julia Faustina, fled the palace after seeing her own brother dragged into the ritual chamber. That same night, the Praetorian Guards stormed the imperial quarters. They found Maximus alone, seated on a throne of black stone, blood pouring from his reopened skull, eyes rolled back, muttering to Jupiter. He did not resist. Before his execution, he whispered, "Cut open your minds, or remain blind forever." His body was buried in an unmarked tomb. His name was struck from monuments, but some say his skull was preserved, hidden, studied, revered. Others say it still whispered. Long after Emperor Maximus was erased from Roman records, his story lingered in whispers in monasteries, in hidden texts, in the warnings of philosophers who feared the power of obsession. The hole in his skull was no mere wound. It became a symbol of forbidden curiosity, of the price men pay when they reach too far into the void. and trepanation, the ancient practice he revived, did not die with him. In the Middle Ages, mystics and madmen followed his example, drilling into their skulls to release demons or sea angels. In the 18th century, secret societies in Vienna and Prague claimed Maximus was a misunderstood prophet's skull, a holy relic stolen by the Vatican. And in the 1960s, a Dutch scientist named Bart Hughes publicly drilled into his own head, believing it could enhance blood flow to the brain and induce higher consciousness. Some followers claim he succeeded. Others claim he went mad just like Maximus. So what do we do with stories like these? Are they cautionary tales about delusion, or disturbing glimpses into a part of human nature we'd rather ignore? After all, every great empire has at least one ruler who looks not outward to conquer others, but inward, into the dark, spiraling corridors of the mind. And when they do, they either return with visions of truth, or they never return at all. So the next time you feel a whisper in your skull, a pressure behind your eyes, a voice telling you to see beyond the veil, remember Emperor Maximus, and ask yourself, what would you be willing to sacrifice to see the face of God?